AI-enhanced VR may alleviate public speaking anxiety. AI-enhanced VR may enhance or may alleviate, oh boy, public speaking anxiety. This is actually from May 31st, 2024 on neurosciencenews.com under the categories of featured, neuroscience, and psychology. And again, as usual with all of them, they're cold readings. I haven't seen this before, but already that reminds me, just from what I know about public speaking, there was a class that we took. So I have a degree in clinical hypnosis from the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, which is America's first nationally accredited college of hypnosis. You can go to their website at hypnosis.edu. They have an associate's degree program as well as a professional program, which is what I took to become a master hypnotist. And in their program, they are nationally accredited, like I said. Psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors, nurses can go there to get their continuing education credits. Obviously, they have an EDU designation for their website, so they are recognized by the United States Department of Education, so on and so forth. Really great school. And they had a class called Speechcraft. And just one thing I know about hypnosis, the subconscious mind, and in general from my training there and from other research, is that rehearsing and practicing the tasks that you want to accomplish and attaching to or associating with those tasks the kind of emotions that you want to feel. So, for example, being confident and whatnot instead of being scared, scared stiff, scared straight. I don't know, how does that term go? Well, one of them. All right, well, let's just get right into this. Again, this is a little bit older, but not that much. It's less than a month old. It's from May 31st, 2024. And they have all these different AI based news on Neuroscience News. So on my warm-ups here, I'm going to be probably going back into some of their archives. All right, so summary already. A new study explores using VR and AI to improve public speaking skills and reduce anxiety. PresentationPro simulates realistic presentation settings with AI-driven audience avatars that provide real-time feedback. This approach offers a safe, repeatable environment for practice, potentially benefiting a wide range of users beyond students. And exactly, just even reading that's exactly what I thought. It's the same thing. This is bringing something that we would help somebody using clinical hypnosis in combination with guided visualization or guided imagery. It seems like this is exactly what this does, and this is a great way to use technology in conjunction with other modalities. Okay, so key facts. 1, PresentationPro uses AI and VR to create lifelike audience interactions. 2, the system tracks physical cues and speech patterns to simulate real feedback. 3, the project aims to help users build confidence and reduce public speaking anxiety. Source: Singapore Management University. I lived over in that part of the world. It was some of the best times of my life. Living in China and traveling to all the countries surrounding there was a fantastic experience. Continuing, if you dread public speaking, you are not alone. It is a leading social phobia, one that can cause a state of anxiety that reduces otherwise articulate people to nervous incoherence. Babbling idiots, did they say? A strong fear of public speaking is known as glossophobia. Academic studies estimate it affects 20% of the population, but depending on the sample and methodology, the figure could be as high as 40%. As American writer and humorist Mark Twain said, there are 2 types of speakers: those who get nervous and those who are liars. And then we have a nice little image here of a woman with VR goggles on. She looks like she's happy. And the caption reads, The VR content, including the audience avatars, is generated through a combination of advanced computer graphics and AI algorithms. Credit Neuroscience News, so it's published in Canada, well, who knows. But help may be on the way. Kyung-Jin Shim, an associate professor of information systems at Singapore Management University, is leading a research project that explores the integration of virtual reality technology and AI to improve public speaking skills in students. And while the research specifically focuses on evaluating the effectiveness of utilizing this technology for the development of public speaking skills for university students, the methodology could have wider applications. The project has been awarded an MOE Tertiary Education Research Fund, TRF, grant, and the proposed solution is called PresentationPro. Through headsets, presenters will see a three-dimensional virtual environment that mimics a real-world presentation setting, complete with a crowd of AI-driven avatars representing an audience, Professor Shim says. These avatars will display behaviors typical of a live audience, such as nodding, making eye contact, showing various expressions, and providing real-time feedback to the presenter, Professor Shim says. In a high-tech update on Practice Makes Perfect, PresentationPro aims to provide a way for presenters to hone their public speaking skills without the logistical challenges of assembling a live audience for every student. The team is collaborating, just a little note on that. When I was doing some training for English teachers in China, one of the things I would have them do, I said, the idea came to me because one of the young ladies had a whole bunch of teddy bears, and so I had her set them up on her couch like an audience and do her teaching and presenting to that as practice, because she was nervous. It made her laugh. She thought it was funny, and it helped her present. I mean, they're teddy bears. I think it's kind of like an equivalent of how some people say visualize your audience or your target audience or whoever you're directing the message to naked. I don't know how much that works. Sounds kind of silly, but it's kind of along the same lines. Continuing. The team is collaborating with SMU's Center for English Communication, CEC, to translate their presentation know-how and best practices into a digital platform and eventually to scale CEC's communication coaching. Avatar triggers. The VR content, including the audience avatars, is generated through a combination of advanced computer graphics and AI algorithms. To make the avatars responsive in real time is no small task. This is achieved through sophisticated AI programming that includes natural language processing, NLP, not the NLP we learned in hypnosis school, which stands for neuro-linguistic programming. This is natural language processing. So this is achieved through sophisticated AI programming that includes natural language processing, NLP, and behavior modeling. The system uses machine learning to analyze the presenter's speech and body language, allowing avatars to respond realistically in real time to both verbal and non-verbal cues, Professor Shim says. By working with SMU's Center for Teaching Excellence, CTE, Professor Shim's faculty team tapped into CTE's expertise in classroom management and wealth of knowledge in different kinds of behavior that can manifest in classroom presentation scenarios. The behaviors of students and faculty instructors plays a crucial role in engineering PresentationPro's audience avatar behaviors using AI. Those quotes are in the text. But can the avatars interrupt the presenter? Yes, avatars can interrupt and ask questions, simulating a dynamic interaction typical of real audiences. This capability is enabled by integrating NLP and speech recognition technologies, allowing avatars to process spoken language and respond appropriately, Professor Shim says. The physical cues of presenters will also be monitored. In addition to heart rate tracking with Fitbits, the system uses VR headsets such as MetaQuest, oh that was a cool one, MetaQuest, equipped with head and gaze tracking technology to monitor where the presenter is looking, such as whether they are avoiding eye contact by staring at their feet. So the system uses VR headsets such as MetaQuest, equipped with head and gaze tracking technology to monitor where the presenter is looking, such as whether they are avoiding eye contact by staring at their feet. Gesture tracking is also employed to catch the other physical behaviors like fidgeting, Professor Shim says. Verbal triggers for the avatars are set up using a combination of speech recognition and sentiment analysis technologies. These triggers are calibrated to recognize various speech patterns and anomalies such as tics, stutters, or deviations from the script. Deviations from the script are not so bad. Sometimes we do that. I mean, I don't do that. I don't ever go off on tangents about subjects that are not from something that I'm reading or off script of any kind ever. Everything I do is straight by the book. I read every single thing that's on the page. Continuing. Deviations from the script, which then cue the avatars to react in specific ways that mimic a real audience's response, Professor Shim says. Behavioral changes. The researchers have generated digital twins, which are highly detailed digital replicas of human behaviors and interactions, much like individuals, ensuring a diverse and realistic audience simulation reflective of a typical SMU classroom. Using different avatars helps to avoid repetition and predictability in audience reactions, enhancing the realism of the virtual environment and mimicking a typical seminar or classroom setting, Professor Shim says. VR and AI can simulate realistic social interactions, which can help individuals practice and improve their public speaking skills in a low-risk environment. Repeated exposure and positive reinforcement through VR can reduce anxiety, build confidence, and lead to behavioral changes. Improvements will be measured through both subjective evaluations and, no, there's no and there. Improvements will be measured through both subjective evaluations, participant and instructor feedback, and objective metrics, performance data collected during VR sessions and traditional in-person assessments. Comparisons will be drawn between control and experimental groups to assess the efficacy of VR training, Professor Shim says. Transformative tool. Interestingly, for a project that is about behavioral change, no psychologists were among the project's expert investigators when it began. The research team primarily consists of specialists in education technology, AI, and public speaking, focusing on the technological and instructional design aspects of the project, Professor Shim says. Although psychologists play a crucial role in understanding and addressing anxiety, our project's current scope concentrates on developing and integrating AI-driven solutions for public speaking training. Nevertheless, we recognize the value of interdisciplinary collaboration and are very open to participating with experts in the social sciences to enhance our understanding of anxiety management. Such collaborations could lead to further refinements in our VR system, ultimately enriching the learner's experience by more effectively addressing public speaking anxiety. Professor Shim has since added SMU Assistant Professor of Psychology Andre Hartanto to the team to explore POINT, psychological mechanisms through which VR may reduce glossophobia, POINT, long-term impacts of VR training on public speaking and anxiety, and POINT, differential effects of VR training across diverse demographic groups. Professor Shim's journey into VR applications began in 2021 with a prototype designed to train new lecturers at SMU. My personal experiences as a faculty member grappling with the challenges of adapting to a new cultural and academic environment deeply influenced this initiative. During my early years at SMU, I found lecturing to a seminar-style classroom of 45 students from diverse backgrounds to be particularly daunting, she says. As I transitioned into a mentorship role for newer faculty members, I realized how beneficial immersive technologies like VR could be in accelerating the onboarding process for new lecturers. Immersive, that reminds me, living in China for 5 years and being immersed in the language and also having a strong desire to want to learn is something that actually really helped me to pick it up more quickly than some other people who were immersed in it but didn't necessarily have a drive or motivation to do so. But continuing, this technology allows them to practice lecturing in their own time and space, repeat sessions as needed, and eliminates the logistical challenges of scheduling real seminar rooms and audiences. Inspired by the potential of this initial application, we set out to develop a similar VR system to enhance public speaking skills for students. This project not only leverages my teaching-related research in collaboration with CTE, but also builds upon our foundational work in VR, aiming to provide a transformative educational tool for a wider audience, Professor Shim says. All right, that's it. So about this AI, VR, and social anxiety research news, the author is Li-Hei Go. Li-Hei Go. Oh no, there's a it looks like it's a Chinese-based name, so it's Li Jiego. Li Jiego from Singapore. That it looked like there was just a J and no I there. Li Jiego. Source is Singapore Management University, that's SMU. And there was an image there. Earlier it was credited to Neuroscience News. There's no abstract on that paper, but as I drink this coffee from Barnes & Noble, I will tell you that I just put a video about whether caffeine is linked to genetics or if you train yourself to do that. So for World Reading Club Technical News Reading, this was from Neuroscience News. Technical News Reading is in association with World Reading Club and Unique Equilibrium, and that article was about AI, and I lost it on my screen. But let's see, can I find it back here? Yeah, it's not gonna. Oh, look, it went back to caffeine. So that was the one called yesterday. Is your caffeine craving genetic or learned? Let's see if I can find the title of this one that I was just looking at. But yeah, all in all, that reminds me of some of the training that we did in the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, and how speechcraft, one of the things that we learned was how to manage our emotions so that we reduced anxiety and built up our confidence. So those are two things that are really important in public speaking, is building up your confidence while also reducing the anxiety. And I am looking to find where the history is here so I can get on that. All right, let's see. Neuroscience News, AI, VR, public speaking. And it's not coming up. Oh, that happens sometimes. I mean, I don't see, and right now I'm using my my Apple. Oh, I found it. Yeah, it's called AI Enhanced VR May Alleviate Public Speaking Anxiety. Published on neurosciencenews.com, May 31st, 2024, under the categories of Featured, Neuroscience, and Psychology. Again, technical news reading for World Reading Club in association with Unequilibrium.